This is probably going to be the last video on the Oldsmobile engine build. You may be happy about that or not. Hopefully the latter of the two. But anyway, just going to talk about this intake. When I installed it, we ran into a problem with it. We couldn't get a regular hex head bolt in some of the grooves in here. So I went ahead and did is I bought some ERP bolts with a 3/8" 12-point head. You need at least 4 of those if you're going to be running this manifold. We'll take a look at those now. You can see how tight in there that is. You couldn't even get a wrench around the edge of that or open end. That one and that one, and to be safe, you should probably get a 5th one for there. Now we're going to drop the HEI distributor in here. I'm going to do it so the rotor faces the number 1 spark plug cylinder. If I were to draw a line here, it would be this terminal. When you drop this in, usually the easiest way to do it is have your motor at top dead center. We left it there. To find top dead center, and more specifically top dead center on the compression stroke, the easiest way is to look at the mark on your harmonic balancer and your timing mark. If it's 0 on the compression stroke, you know you're good. Here's the number 1 spark plug hole. An easy way to find out if you're on the compression stroke is take that spark plug out, have someone hand bar the engine over, and have your finger over it. When the air comes rushing out, you know you're approaching the compression stroke. In this one, you can actually see that the piston's at top dead center. We're making custom plug wires for this, so I could really put it any way I want. But if I have it like this, I can advance it or retard it, and there's nothing interfering with the vacuum advance. Okay, so here we dropped it in with the distributor facing at the number 1 cylinder. You can see it's very close to this terminal. And we've actually backed off the timing on this by 30 degrees. I'll probably be running about 35 degrees advance on this. So it should work out pretty good like that. And we'll just drop it in one more time so you can see how this distributor cocks forward when you put it in. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a mark on which one is going to be my number 1 cylinder for when I do the plug wires. On this engine, the rotor rotates counterclockwise. Something to keep in mind when you run your plug wires so you don't get them completely messed up. So it'd be 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. Here I put on the valve covers. I'm only going to RTV the valve cover side with some black because we're going to have these covers off again when we adjust the rocker arms when the engine's running. So you just stick your gasket on there. Another note on this intake is I wanted to talk about the gasket on the front and the back. I used a Mr. Gasket set and I got them to lay in there perfectly. A lot of people say, oh, use a bead of silicone in there and that's better. I really don't see how that's going to hold in there better than this gasket. But whatever works for you. You can see I fitted a 1-inch phenolic spacer on top of my torquer intake. The reason for that is I wanted to get some more distance between the base of the carb to the plumb floor and try and utilize that cone that's in there. If you watch some dyno pulls, sometimes this helps and sometimes it hurts. On top you see I got a Holley 50 double pumper. Probably going to rebuild this carb, try it, and also the Holley 750 vacuum secondary I'm going to try on here. Both model 4150s. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, I have some up and coming Holley identification videos. Here I have fit the engine with some 8.5mm MSD superconductor plug wires. You can see here I used an Excel separator. I wanted to try them, and for 8.5 I'm not liking them. It's kind of loose. This is supposed to be for 8.5 and a 9. And also, well, these things use a screw and it kind of sucks putting them together. So instead I prefer the Moroso wire separator. It just clips right in there and it holds them tight. If you're wondering what exactly this is, it's called a velocity stack. What it does is it straightens out the air as it rushes into the carburetor. Probably more looks than anything, but It's marine grade and I'm going to run it. On the front of the block, I'm going to fit a water pressure gauge to keep a close eye on this thing to make sure I'm not blowing out any gaskets. And if you look at it, you see that it's not on 0, it's on 2.5. I don't know if this thing was made in the mountains of China or something, and then the gauge went up and they brought it down here. Here's my thermostat housing again. This time I'm going to preheat the incoming water in the exhaust manifolds, then run it through the engine, and this will be the discharge. Inside here is a spring and a valve. So if the thermostat is closed, the water pressure overcomes the spring and is able to discharge, keeping constant flow to the exhaust manifolds. This piece here was made by Paul. He used a rough piece of aluminum, cut it to size, and then polished it with a Scotch-Brite wheel fine, and then I went over it with an airway wheel to get the chrome finish. Thanks, Paul.